Youth chess class with Antonio Sturges practice video, take 1. Three, 2, 1. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 0. Let us begin. Hello everyone, and now for the main event, also known as your worst nightmare. No, but let's be honest, studying the game of chess can be so complex, so abstract, and so logical, and so deep in the train of thought that it takes you, that honestly, sometimes it could feel like your worst nightmare. But to be honest to you, all you students today are going to be learning a great sport that will not only teach you how to make the best moves over the board, but also will teach you how to become and make the best moves in life. Now, what is the goal of my program here? Well, my program is not only going to take you from absolutely a newbie, like you guys are, beginner, novice, to adept, grandmaster, hopefully in the future, at least master or expert level in this game we call chess, but also you will learn many valuable quantitative life lessons through this game that I'll be teaching you through chess. Because at the end of the day, chess isn't just the best teacher of a game and critical thinking, it's the best teacher of life. As there are so many parallels between the chessboard as a game and the game that we call life. Now, knowing this, let me start off with how to set up the board. So, first, before we can set up the board, we have to understand how the board works. So, this board is 8 by 8. As you can see, 8 over here. As you can see, 8 letters, A for H, over here. This 8 by 8 board is the board we play chess on. This board is categorized and broken down into 2 sections, what we call files and what we call ranks. Now, what is a file? A file is represented by the letters that go vertical. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H are all considered files in the game of chess. Whereas, on the opposite side of this spectrum, we have ranks. Ranks are represented by the horizontal, not vertical, horizontal lines known as the numbers 1 through 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Knowing this is crucial to getting a better grasp of understanding, overstanding, and complete comprehension of the game. Because later on, when we start teaching you, right guys, how to read chess games like musicians read music, or how poets read writing, knowing how to read the game of chess is going to be extremely important to your success in this course. So I'm going to go over it again, guys, just so that you guys can comprehend this. In and out. And no, not in and out the upper ear. In your brain. So, all jokes aside, how does this board work again? Well, I'll break it down to you again one more time so you guys can remember and really grasp this information and comprehend it. In chess, the board is in normal chess, the board is an 8 by 8 board with 8 files and 8 ranks. The files are vertical and are numbered 1 through 8, whereas the horizontal sides of a board are known as ranks. In other words, ranks are broken down by the ranks A through H, the first 8 letters of the alphabet, and the first 8 numbers, and just numerology in general, no jokes aside, are broken down as the files. So we have ranks going this way, and we have files going this way. This is an overall rundown of the chessboard. Thank you very much. In a synopsis. Now, next question is, all right, so we have the chessboard here, right? We have the board, we laid it out. Now, how do we lay it out correctly? Well, see, here's the big thing. If you lay it out incorrectly, you can get a technical, well, what's considered a technical foul in basketball is actually incomplete play inside chess, just as any sport is. So in chess, there's certain rules you have to abide by before we start putting the pieces on the board. The white squares, lighter squares, should be with A8 and H1 should be in the top left and the bottom right corner at all times before you set up. Or else the game is a different game. And at the end of the day, that can mess you up. So knowing that, make sure that this is here and this is here and not the other way around. So that you have the board set up correctly so you're ready to play. Now, let's go through what the chess pieces' names are. Each one has a specific purpose as well as a specific significance in history and in the game. First, we have the pawn. Now, I don't remember I think it was German, but what European language it was. But pawn represents your soldiers. Your soldiers, right, are fighting pieces. They're used to attack other pieces and other stuff like that. So that's what your pawn is. This, my friend, is your pawn. Next, you have the knight. The knight is also a soldier, but there's some differences, and we'll go into it in a second on how the pawn and the knight are obviously different. But the knight usually looks like a horse with some spikes on its head. Because in medieval times, knowing that chess was a game started in the Middle Ages, it started in India, and then moved to Europe and evolved into what it is today, the knight always rode on a horse. Not a llama, okay? Not an elephant like in India, which it might have at one point. Actually, the old knight used to be an elephant, because that's what they rode on in India. Or a camel, because that's another history story for another time. But yeah, nowadays knights look like horses. And that's what we're like in the game of chess. No joke intended. Then we have a bishop. Now in medieval times, a bishop was someone high up in the church who had a political standing of power. So that's why in the game of chess, considering that it's a medieval game, it takes place in medieval times, this is why the bishop is a part of a chessboard and a part of the politics that came to create chess. Next, we have the rook. Now the rook usually looks like a straight line, but it usually looks like a line castle. Now back in medieval times, kings and queens used to live inside castles. Now there's a certain move in chess called castling, where you move your king and rook at the same time. This is important because you understand that chess, like I said, is a medieval game. And in medieval times, safeholds and buildings used to be built in castle form. Kind of like what you see in Puerto Rico and in Spain. made out of bricks and a lot of loud layered tiles. So knowing that this is the castle, or it could also be referred into the German nomenclature, which is known as the rook, which is German for a castle. Finally, we have the last two pieces, the most beloved and important pieces on the board. First, these two pieces are probably the most important in the game, because if you lose the queen, which has a tiara or crown on it, you're probably going to lose the game. And if you lose the king, well, you have lost the game. So as you can see, queen and king are important aspects to the game, which we'll get into in a second. So, now that we know how the board works, how to set it, and all this other stuff, now that we know the names of the pieces, how do we put the pieces on the board to effectively set up appropriate nomenclature for the game of chess? Well, here we go. So we went over 5 different pieces. The pawns, the knights, the bishhops, the queens, the rooks, and the king. Now I will show you how to set up the board. So, first we'll start off with where you put your pawns. If you're the black pieces, which go in the back side, on the 8th and 7th rank of the chessboard, you put your pawns, as you set them up, on the 7th rank. And if you're the white pieces, or the lighter pieces, that start on the 2nd and the 1st rank, you put them on the 2nd rank. As you can see, there are parallel ranks to each other. So knowing this, this is where you put your pawns. You scatter them all across the 2nd and the 7th rank. And this is what that looks like. 1. 2. 3, as you can see. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8. 8 pawns upon that rank. And now, the black pawns we set up adjacent to the white and red pawns. One.